1932, founding daddy Coleman McWilliams crashed his sailing yacht on an undiscovered island east of Florida and south of Bermuda. The boat was sailing in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle. During the wreck, McWilliams climbed to the top deck to sail the boat and was struck by lightning. Soon, McWilliams was able to calm the storm with the nod of his head. McWilliams was now a god. He and everyone on the boat, 423 women, began to colonize the island they wrecked upon. 40 years later, the colony had grown to 6.9 million citizens. At this point, Bermuda and the United States had noticed the growing nation. They denounced its sovereignty and sent a fleet to remove the island's inhabitants. Coleman McWilliams, with the power of a god, put a force field around the island, allowing no one to enter or exit without his permission. This forced all of the countries of the world to recognize East Tubistan as a sovereign nation. Ever since then, the island's inhabitants have been worshiping Colby as a god, forming a theocracy.
East Tubistan is located in the North Atlantic Ocean, in between Bermuda, Florida, and Puerto Rico. East Tubistan is divided into 6 sectors. Our largest city is Bikini Bottom, which is also the capital. We also have Rack City, Nolans, and we have 3 beautiful coastal cities, Sendit Shores, Hugh Hef, and Loco.
Our national animal here in Tubistan is the indigenous sloth that you can find roaming these cities, and Jellybean the dodo bird.
In East Tubistan, we have 3 forms of currency: turtle bucks, bitcoins, as well as Tubinese coins.
Here in East Tubistan, our national dish, the Krabby Patty, and our national drink, the Strawberryta, but please be 21 or over to consume and do not fly and drive. Thank you.
Here in East Tubistan, we have 3 national symbols. A yacht, because
Aladdin Mustafa Big Mac Papiwal III
had crashed his yacht, thus finding East Tubistan. Next, we have the lightning bolt, which
Aladdin Mustafa Big Mac Papiwal III
was struck by lightning, turning him into a god and becoming our great dictator. Next, we have the coconut. The outside of the coconut represents the strong unity of East Tubistan as a community. The meaty, soft inside represents the gentle personalities of each and every citizen of East Tubistan. Being the only man to survive other than
Aladdin Mustafa Big Mac Papiwal III
was Vincenzo the Great. Vincenzo is our national hero. He doesn't really do much.
East Tubistan's military is all women, led by one male general.
Aladdin Mustafa Big Mac Papiwal III.
Look at all those missiles.
Our government in East Tubistan is a theocratic dictatorship. The head of state is Supreme Leader Aladdin Mustafa Big Mac Papiwal III, along with our head of government, which is Vincenzo the Great. We have a one-party system where Supreme Leader Aladdin Mustafa Big Mac Papiwal III is the Supreme Leader of East Tubistan. The official name of East Tubistan is the Theocratic Atlantic States of Tubistan. And to become a citizen, you must be a highly skilled and technically trained worker that can help our economy in a high-tech service economy. You must go through weeks of testing to see if you are a highly skilled laborer. In the government of East Tubistan, Supreme Leader Aladdin Mustafa Big Mac Papiwal III has absolute power in the government, which means he is allowed to do whatever he would like. He appointed the CEO, Vincenzo the Great, to run the country for him. However, Supreme Leader Aladdin Mustafa Big Mac Papiwal III is allowed to overrule any decision made throughout the country.
In this picture, you see the Supreme Leader himself, with the CEO to the right of him, and on either side, the 6 leaders of the state. Under the CEO are 6 heads of state that control the 6 states within Tubistan. There we go.
The real GDP in Tubistan is 320 billion US dollars. This converted to Tubistani coins would be 32 million. The growth rate is 2.4% as of 2017, and according to the rule of 70, our money will double in 35 years. The GDP per capita of East Tubistan is 46,228 US dollars. Converted to Tubistani coins, this is only 4.6. The GDP growth rate per capita is 3.7% as of 2017, and our per capita GDP should double in 19 years. We have a strong economy with no inflation and no unemployment. We have no weaknesses. The current share of GDP in Tubistan, the consumption is 9.1%, investment is 23.5%, and government spending is 43.9%, along with net exports, which is 23.5%.
East Tubistan was founded in 1932. Immigration skyrocketed. Over the next 40 years, the population went from a few 100,000 to something in the millions. Now, something needed to be done about this problem, so a force field was created around the island to prevent any immigrants from coming in. Now, Supreme Leader Aladdin Mustafa personally removed any unwanted immigrants from the island. Now, some people were let in. Skilled laborers and high-tech people were let into the country.
And then we gotta go.
In East Tubistan, the major exports are gold at 29%, spaceships at 11%, and human or animal bloods at 6.9%, coming from our human sacrifices. The major imports in East Tubistan are computers at 2.8%, packaged medicaments at 1.7%, seats at 0.88%, as well as medical instruments at 0.69%.
Our allies in East Tubistan are Cuba, Bermuda, North Korea, Australia, the Bahamas, Italy, and Ireland. Our enemies are the United States, Canada, and the Vatican City. The total trade surplus of East Tubistan is 50 billion US dollars. We export 75 billion in goods and import 25 billion.
East Tubistan has several trade agreements with, including the WTO, NAFTA, and North Korea. They also have several defense treaties and a defensive pact with North Korea.
East Tubistan's official language, Tubanese.
Say,
Hello.
what's up with you?
How are you doing?
Out here.
We are here.
Big facts.
You are correct.
Brody,
Friend.
what you say?
What are you doing?
Zooted?
Wasted.
You heard?
Did you hear? The rate of East Tubistan's population growth is 0.6%, and we have a high standard of living.
Since East Tubistan has a relatively low population growth, however, the population is growing, you can expect the standard of living in East Tubistan to be very high.
The level of economic freedom in East Tubistan is 91.4%. We are ranked number 1 in the world. Some factors that put us high on the list are we are competitive financially and in business. We have property rights, business freedom, trade, and monetary freedom is high. There is no corruption due to the fact that dictator Papiwel III is a god, and we have lots of global commerce.
The gender and age distribution of East Tubistan is 95% women and 5% men. Most of the men travel to China as skilled laborers. Most of the men are not as hard workers as the women, therefore they are sent to China.
Here in East Tubistan, we have a relatively young population. Most of the people here are under 30 years old.
The occupational distribution of East Tubistan is 92% service, 3.8% manufacturing, and 4.2% agriculture. Most of the manufactured goods and crops that come into the country are imported. The income and wealth distribution of East Tubistan is an average income of $250,000 per year, and the wealth distribution is generally equal due to most inhabitants being members of the service industry. Jobs tend to be similar.
In East Tubistan, 0% of our population is imprisoned. We have a 2% crime rate, and criminals are shot on sight. Drugs are allowed in the country. Weed is the only drug allowed to ensure a calm, tranquil society. No other drugs are allowed. If anybody is caught with drugs other than weed, they will be shot on sight. The birth rate in East Tubistan is about 9 births per 1,000 people. There are about 6 deaths per 1,000 people. The life expectancy for women is about 96 years, and for men only 54 years. And the great dictator Aladdin Mustafa Big Mac Papiwel III is immortal. Everybody in East Tubistan is required to exercise and be in tip-top shape due to an intense labor force. The environment of East Tubistan is one of the best in the world, and we rank number 1 on the Environmental Performance Index. The Productivity Index in East Tubistan is number 1 on the list. We have highly skilled workers, good technology, and we have a 0% unemployment rate. The Global Competitive Index in East Tubistan, we are number 1 on the list. We have good health and education, great technology, and a large international export market. Our level of technology, we are number 1 on the chart. We have the most advanced technology that is seen nowhere else in the world. East Tubistan is dependent on productivity and labor inputs for future economic growth because we have a high population and very advanced technology. The average work week in East Tubistan is about 20 hours. We have a 95% participation rate. All unskilled workers are deported, and the only people who are not working are the elderly and children under 18. Tubistan only employs the most skilled workers, a high quality of labor due to our young population, and a great quality due to our advanced technology. Everybody is required to go to school until the age of 18.
The unemployment rate and inflation rate in East Tubistan. We have a 0% unemployment rate where weak persons are deported from the country. We also have a 0% inflation rate, which means our economy is doing very well. And because of these two things, we have a 0 on the misery index, which means we are very happy.
Chef with the goal! Marcelo with the knees. Chef with the goal! Marcelo with the knees. Chef with the goal! Marcelo with the knees. Chef with the knees. Marcelo with the goal!
The primary resources of East Tubistan, our natural resources are gold, diamonds, petroleum, zucchini, and fish. We have a high service industry, and our real capital is farmland as well as fish farms.
The Constitution of East Tubistan. Its main purposes are to protect the rights and values of the citizens of East Tubistan and make the world a better place. Its basic ideologies: everybody must obey the rule of Aladdin Mustafa Big Mac Papiwal III. Treat others the way you would like to be treated. What goes around comes around. # karma. Make Tubistan great again.
In East Tubistan, we have one political party. This is called Mustafa's Men. The beliefs are that you must worship dictator Papiwal III, preach the word of Papiwal III, and material wealth will bring merriment.
Judicial review. We have a judicial branch, and decisions must be reviewed by dictator Papiwal III or Vincenzo the Great. And the High Court is called Big Mac High Court, which is co-equal and is an extension of the executive branch.
Make Tubistan great again.